what was your motivation when deciding to make Super Street Fighter 4?
本当にこう So even before we released regular Street Fighter 4, people were already talking about a possible follow-up or sequel, which struck us as rather strange because the original hadn't even come out yet. But once the game did come out in February of this year, people right away, there was a lot of feedback. They wanted this character, they wanted that character, they wanted this additional mode, whatever. And that really kind of reached a fever pitch around March or April. We just got so much feedback from people, directly to us, and also reading the internet message boards and stuff, and we knew what kinds of things people were expecting. So when the game did get really popular and sold really well, and a lot of people seemed to be enjoying it and playing it online, and they certainly seemed to want a follow-up, we said, well, I guess, we have no choice, we should do this. The fans are certainly demanding it. So this past spring, we got the R&D team back together, and we started experimenting with what we could do for a follow-up, and that's how Super Street Fighter 4 was born.
Speaking of that feedback, any specific features that you added thanks to the feedback?
I think where you'll see the most the fan input kind of reflected in the additional modes in Super Street Fighter 4 is in the online front. People seem to really like the arcade fight request feature in Street Fighter 4, where you could play arcade mode and people could jump in at any time. That was a really cool feature, but once people got used to that, it seemed kind of normal and they wanted something more. We had a lot of feedback from people that they wanted to play with more than just one other person. They wanted more people to be able to participate. They wanted to be able to see other people's fights, so maybe they could learn from them and see how experts play. So we've taken those two key concepts and we're going to work them into Super Street Fighter 4 in some way, shape, or form in the online mode. It's a little too early right now to get into too much detail, but perhaps the next time we meet we can talk a lot more specifically about it.
Are there any things, because Street Fighter is a game where you pride yourself of that you don't have to rebalance the game. It will evolve with the players all the time. Are there any things that you are balancing differently in Street Fighter 4?
So when we released Street Fighter 4, we were very happy with the balance when it was released. We thought, this is it, this is the final version, we're done, we got everything balanced properly. But something funny happens when you have millions and millions of people playing the game, and you have some hardcore people really analyzing exactly how many frames each move is and what moves link up with other moves to make combos. And when you have that many people playing for that long a period of time, they actually discover things that even the R&D team may not have been aware of. So what we saw is, gradually, and this is, I think, natural for fighting games, but gradually we started to see that it wasn't balanced exactly how we thought it was, that there were some things even we didn't expect. So we are definitely going to take this advantage with Super to rebalance some things, to change up the way some moves play out, and just make it so it's maybe a little different experience and perhaps even more balanced than the previous version.
Could you tell us something about the new characters that you're adding and the ones that you can't talk about and a little bit about them?
So today at TGS we're talking about two new characters that are being added to the game. The first one being T-Hawk. Everyone knows T-Hawk, I think, from Super Street Fighter 2. He's been a fan favorite for a long time. As you know, he didn't actually make the cut for the original Street Fighter 4. Some fans were a lot more upset about that than we thought they would be. So this time we were sure to send an invitation to T-Hawk. We didn't forget him this time, so he's in the lineup and he's back. The other new character we're talking about today is this female character named Judy. She represents a couple firsts for Street Fighter. First of all, she's the first Korean character we've ever had in a Street Fighter game, and secondly, she's the first practitioner of Taekwondo. And it's kind of strange that we've neglected Taekwondo for so long, because it's a very popular sport. It's in the Olympics, etc. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's about time that we had a Taekwondo character. So she'll play a little differently than a lot of other characters you've used in the Street Fighter series before. What's interesting about her as well, you'll notice, is she's not really a good guy. She has kind of a sinister sort of edge to her. You'll notice her left eye glows, and that there's a reason for that. That's an artificial eye that was given to her by SIN, which is the organization run by Seth, the final boss that everyone loves to hate. So she'll be tying into the main storyline as well with that eye and what her connection is to SIN. So there are a lot of interesting aspects to her personality and things that we'll be able to explore further once the game is released.
Speaking of when the game is released, what's the time plan, and will there be an arcade version as well as console versions?
So unfortunately, I'm sorry to say to arcade fans out there won't be an arcade version of this. I think a lot of people were kind of requesting an arcade update. I know that in some parts of the world it doesn't really matter if there's an arcade version or not, but certainly in Japan and the rest of Asia and some parts of Oceania, there's still a lot of people playing in arcades. So I'm sorry to have disappointed them, but this time it's going to be an Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 only affair, and we're looking to have the game released next spring, in spring of 2010. So when it's still kind of cold outside, you can heat up some action in your own home with Street Fighter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.